What is up, everyone? It's DJ Rick Webb here, and welcome to DJ Tips episode 4. Today's episode, like the title says, is Speakers 101. We're going to be talking about placements. We're going to be talking about how many speakers, when to use speakers, where to put them in the room, how to put them on tripods, all kinds of stuff like that. Let's get into it. Yeah. So due to the limitations down here in the basement, I can't really show you how to place speakers in different room scenarios, but we're going to jump on over later here to a piece of paper, and I'm going to draw out some rooms where we're going to talk about where to put your speakers, distances from walls, and all kinds of stuff like that. First, I'm going to demonstrate some basic speaker tips for putting your speakers on tripods and stuff of that nature. So we got one of the speakers I own here. This one's a PRX 712, and we got it on a standard DJ tripod speaker stand. Do you guys see the problem here? I'm going vlog style here to explain this. Here's the speaker, and we got a problem here. This horn right here, this is the horn, this is the woofer, this is the horn. This horn is at the same level as my ear. That's not good. The horns produce all the high-end frequencies, and your ear does not like very loud high frequencies. It actually can damage your ears very badly. So, what do you need to do to fix this? You need to raise your speaker up. Let's do that. This is much better now. The horn is way above my ear level. I'm 5'10" for you guys that don't know. And unless you have someone that is well over 6 foot tall, this horn will not come anywhere near being at their ear level, which is what you want. And actually, in general, you want your speakers to be as high as you can possibly go with your speaker stands and the room. This is an 8-foot ceiling, so I cannot go any higher than 8 foot here. Why do you want it though to be as high up as possible? Everyone knows that one room, a gymnasium, how they're very echoey. And how do they get rid of echo in buildings? They put damperers on the walls, sponges, certain materials that will absorb that sound. People do the exact same thing for us DJs out at gigs. They absorb sound. So if you have your speaker down at this level, or even that level, as the sound travels out from the speakers, it's going to be picked up and absorbed by the bodies and people and things in the room. So the higher up you can get your speakers above everyone, the further the sound will actually travel. What I'm trying to stress to you guys is, if you have speakers on speaker stands, make sure that they are at least above your ear level. Preferably, you would like to walk up to the speaker and your actual head, a standard, like let's say 5'5" person, which is about average, can look at the bottom of the speaker. The bottom of the speaker be at this height. That is optimal. Even higher than that is even better. Some tips for you guys on getting your speakers actually up to that height if you don't have hydraulic stands, which I don't. The method I use is I put my stands all the way up to as high as they will go, which is reachable with my arm still, and I lift the speaker up and place it on top of that. Alternatively, compared to what I do, I've seen some DJs do this, but you have to be very careful because you can damage your tripods doing it this way. But if you lay your tripod down on the ground like this with 2 legs on the ground, put your speaker on it like I have here, you can now make sure you have everything tightened down first, because you don't want to lift up and the tripod collapse on you. Make sure you have everything tightened down, and then you can literally just lift the speaker up into place. Those are the best 2 options I've seen for getting your heavy speakers up in the air on non-hydraulic tripods. And for all you guys with hydraulic tripods, I am jealous. Now I want to talk to you guys about adding additional speakers to your setup. If you are buying speakers of the same output capability, say they're all 500 watt amp speakers. So you have one speaker. You want to increase the sound output of your rig, effectively double it. You need 2 speakers then, add 1 more speaker. You want to actually hear a physical difference in sound, you add another speaker. No, it doesn't work like that. When trying to increase the sound output of your setup, you have to add in doubles. What I mean is, if you have 1 speaker, to increase the sound output of your system, you add a 2nd speaker. To increase the sound output of that system, you need to add 2 more speakers. And then to increase the sound output again, you need to add 4 more speakers, effectively having 8. Every time you want to increase the sound output of your system, you have to double the amount of speakers you had previously. There are special cases though where adding a 3rd speaker will help, but the only way that it can help is additional fill in the room. Say you have a really weird looking hall that's really long, 2 speakers here and adding one in the middle, a third one to cover this section versus these 2 sections will actually help the sound of your system. It won't sound any louder, it'll just fill in the missing gaps that are missing in the sound. I could go into numbers and explain to you guys why it works that way, but for the sake of this video, you can trust me, I've done plenty of research on this topic, and I'm sure a lot of you DJs can back me in the comments below. Alright, so now let's jump over to a piece of paper and let's draw out some rooms and talk about speaker placement. So here is our first setup. We have our tables, chairs, people are sitting around here and all kinds of stuff like that. Right here is our dance floor, and here is our DJ booth. Now, where do we put our speakers for this room? We're gonna put our speakers right here and right here as what a standard setup would be. The coverage pattern that you get from 2 speakers on either side is going to look something like this. As you see, the speakers are covering this part, but we're missing part of the dance floor right here. This is great when you are doing a wedding at the beginning, when you're trying to just play dinner music, cocktail music, evenly dispersed volume throughout the whole entire room, and you don't so much care about the dance floor because no one's on the dance floor yet at all. And a lot of times this is what I do. You guys probably have seen it a lot. This is how I set up my speakers off the get-go. What you guys don't see is later on in the night I actually turn my speakers inward to face the dance floor. That way my effective pattern coverage is more like this. And what this does is it creates this nice hot spot here in the middle of the dance floor where these big lines intersect. And out here on the outside, you guys see this actually creates lighter music volume for those people that want to just sit around and chat with their friends, which is effectively what you're trying to achieve at a normal wedding, company party, birthday party, or event. Very strong, concentrated volume of music on the dance floor with lighter, airier music for people to listen to out in the audience. So like we were talking about the angles and pattern-wise that they come out of the speaker, we also were talking about earlier how I said you want to ensure that the speakers are above the ear level of these people, and that's because when the sound comes out of the speaker, they travel at an angle just like they do going side to side. Now in this case, the speaker right here is right above head level. This is why I say that if you could put your speaker all the way up here, the sound's going to travel further across and over everyone's head, making it sound a lot louder throughout the whole entire room and throughout the whole entire dance floor. That's why it's better to throw it over top of people than to drive it right into them. And we always want to remember to not put this loud horn anywhere near anyone's ear level. Now let's talk about where in the room to actually set your speakers and what you want to avoid, and then we'll talk about different room types. So right here we have the standard room and we have our speakers again. Now we want to talk about how far to be from walls and what to do when you're near walls. First off, the standard that I've found online and that all sound resources have told me, and pros that I've talked to, is that when you're near a wall, you want to stay at least 8 feet from that wall. Countertively, you also want to stay 8 feet from this wall, and that is to avoid canceling out any frequencies. What you could alternatively do is put your speaker within 1 foot of the wall. It is highly recommended that you try to stay 8 feet away from the wall, but we all know that people love to set us up against walls. So optimally, you would love to try and keep your speakers within 1 foot of a wall if you can. I would honestly say 2 feet's fine as well. We know with speaker stands they actually stick out a little bit further, so I would actually say within 2 feet, but you want to try to stay at least 8 feet away. It's always better to be farther away from the wall than up against the wall. But these are the 2 standard measurements you want to consider. Alright, so we kind of already discussed the basic room scenario where they set you up on this side of the room and you have all the tables, chairs, and your dance floor is right in front of you. You put your speaker on either side of your setup and you're good to go. Alternatively, let's say they set you up in the corner over here. Now, if the dance floor is right in front of you in this corner, yes, go ahead, set your speakers up on either side. But let's say they set you up in a corner and the dance floor is over here. What you're gonna wanna do, if you can, is set your speakers up over here and run your cabling accordingly to get your speakers over to this side. That way you can attack the dance floor right on the dance floor and get optimal sound onto the dance floor. Now, by the worst chance in the world, they set you up over here or over here in this corner and your dance floor is on the whole entire other side of the room, you're just gonna have to bite the bullet, set up your speakers where they're at, and play over top of people's heads. This being the people's heads. I've had that, it's happened to me before. I try to ensure that they allow me to set up in a place that works best with the dance floor, but I'm sure at least once you'll run into that issue. Now let's talk about weird rooms. First, let's talk about this sort of room. The long, skinny room, or in some cases, the very big, long room. Where is the optimal setup here? It also depends on where they're going to set up the dance floor. In my case, they set up the dance floor over here, so I set my speakers up over here. But that's not ideal. In a scenario when you have a long room like this, you want the dance floor to be right here in the middle, and you want to be set up right here with speakers on either side, or they set up your booth over here and they make this the head table for the bridegroom and all the bridal party. And you set up your speakers accordingly on either side here. So what you want to do here is you want to actually turn your speakers outward so that they give you a coverage pattern like this off the get-go. You want something like this to be your coverage pattern at the beginning when you're doing cocktail hour, you're making announcements, you're just playing background music. This is my recommendation, that you turn your speakers outward to cover either side of the room. And then, like I've said before, when we get to dance time, you're gonna wanna turn your speakers on an angle facing into the dance floor. That way your coverage pattern looks like this. As you can see here, we are actually missing some spots over here and over here, but overall, at this point in the night, your main focus is to get the dance floor. So this is what I recommend, is to turn your speakers, orient your speakers for the cocktail hour, and then change them over when it's time to dance, and not so much any more announcements. This is what I think to be ideal for a long skinny room, is for them to set up the dance floor in the middle. They set you up right behind it or right off to the side, and you set your speakers up accordingly for cocktail hour to cover either side of the room, and then when it's time to dance, you turn your speakers, orient your speakers that put a nice hot spot here on the dance floor. Now let's talk about a standard gymnasium, which a lot of you guys starting out, high school events, middle school events will be done in gymnasiums, even elementary dances. Some of the entry-level gigs that you guys can get happen to be in gymnasiums. Now, gymnasiums are very, very big. They are also very long. Ideally, if you have any say in the setup for a gymnasium for a school dance, you want to highly recommend that you can set up over on the side of the gymnasium, and you want to be able to set up your speakers in a way that you can attack the smaller end of the actual gymnasium. That way, you are only attacking your sound this short distance, versus if you set up your speakers over on this end, you're attacking this long distance. And even worse than that, say they put you over here in this corner, you have to attack the longest possible way across the whole entire gymnasium. So in a standard gymnasium, guys, if you can say anything to the people that are in charge or where you're allowed to set up, always try to attack the smallest distance across. It'll save you in the long run a lot of stress and headaches for people asking for the music to be louder or stuff of that nature. Always try to attack the smallest distance possible in a gymnasium. And that's pretty much all the speaker tips I got for you guys today. Just want to go in conclusion again, ensure that you put your speakers above ear level. if you can, put them as high as you possibly can in that venue. Second, if you are increasing and adding speakers to your setup, be sure that you add in multiples. Always multiply the amount of speakers that you currently have by 2. That way you actually increase the loudness of your system. Not sure if loudness is a word. And then we discussed some of the actual ideas around speaker placement that I have and what I've came to know from pros, including to ensure that you are at least 8 feet away from a wall when you are setting up a speaker, or you stay within a foot. I say stay within a foot to 2 feet of a wall. And then we even talked about turning the speakers facing the dance floor. That way you create that nice hot spot, that clear, crisp, amazing sounding hotspot sound on the dance floor, and then you leave the sound very light and airy throughout the rest of the room. That way people can sit around and have conversations and talk with their friends and family, and the people that want to dance can hear the nice loud club type atmosphere sound on the dance floor as you rock the party away. But anyways guys, on that note, that's all for this video. Be sure to leave all of your comments, questions, concerns, more detail you want to know about in the comment section below. Also give me ideas for future videos you guys want to see. I got a pretty long list of videos to make now, but if there's anything that you really want to know about that you think would be a really good idea for a video, leave it down in the comment section below. Be sure to give me a thumbs up on this video if you like. The Speaker Tips 101 subwoofer tips will be coming here shortly as well. If you aren't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you're part of the DJ Rick Web community and you're subscribing. And if you want to take that just a little step further, be sure to hit that bell. That way you'll be notified of every last one of my new videos that will be coming out, and you don't have to worry about trying to find them. But anyways guys, on that note, my name is DJ Rick Webb. Keep them records spinning, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.